Is it possible to put some kind of poison in the ink so that you could actually murder somebody by a tattoo?
I'm Jacky Rom, a British author currently writing my latest crime novel, which is all about murder. To help me get inspired and better understand the mindset of my characters, I'll be taking a hands-on approach in the hope of finding the ideal murder weapon. How to remain undetected, and looking at different ways to get rid of a body.
I wouldn't be able to bury a cat there, it's so small.
After deciding my novel is going to be set in Las Vegas, I'm heading to America to get a feel for the place, take in the sights and meet some interesting locals to help me with my research. The lead character in my book is a makeup artist who works on blockbuster film sets, so it made sense to start my trip in Hollywood, movie capital of the world. I had an idea about a potential method of killing someone without detection and arranged to visit one of LA's top tattoo parlours to see if the concept's possible. I've always fancied a tattoo, so I thought while I'm in LA, might as well have one done. Everyone else has got one.
Do you ever get asked to do tattoos that you would rather not, like designs that you would rather? Oh, do you?
Yeah, all the time.
I know you have the right, but do you say no, this isn't something? Oh, do you?
Yeah, I probably turn down 30% of the tattoos I get asked to do.
Do people ask for ridiculous things?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. It's relative.
Yeah, of course,
Something
of course.
that is ridiculous to me or you may not be ridiculous to the person who's asking for it. If it's just a stupid idea, it has to be so stupid that it's comical for me to do it. You understand what I'm saying? The meter has to peg completely all the way around and become so silly that it's actually funny, and then I'll do it. Because I understand the comedy behind it. If it's just a bad idea and I know that the person's going to regret it later on in their life, I generally won't do it. You ready?
Yeah.
We'll start off with a small kind of brushing approach so you can kind of feel what it's going to feel like, and we'll go from there.
Look, I've had a baby, this is alright. So, I've got a really important question to ask.
Sure.
As you know, I'm researching murder.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to put some kind of poison in the ink so that you could actually murder somebody by a tattoo? That's one to think about, isn't it?
That's a good one.
I noticed that the ink was sealed. So if you would have to pierce it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, you would have to put. I'm like, why do you want to know? You would.
Don't forget, this is hypothetical.
No, of course. I guess theoretically speaking, yes, because I am injecting ink. I am injecting ink underneath the skin. So if you were to have any substance or any chemicals that had high enough dosage in it, the person would feel the effect, whatever the effect was, or there was a numbing agent or a life-ending agent. So I guess it is possible, but it would be so diluted by the ink that you would have to use a very, very large amount. You would have to be working on a very, very large piece, a back piece, because you have to. You're introducing little by little by little by little. It's almost. Oh God, I hate even to say this because I have a newborn.
That leaves me to think that I need to go and talk to somebody about the actual poison that could be put into that amount of liquid.
Yes.
So that I'm not saying that the tattoo artist is the murderer. I think that I'm saying that somebody would fix one of your paints
Sure.
so that somebody will die.
Yeah, I mean, it could be done at the manufacturing level, and I would never know.
Yes.
It could be done at the shipping level because we do get it from a distributor, and I would never know.
Yeah.
So we don't. It's very seldom that we buy directly from the manufacturer. And so there are multiple hands. Not only the chemist that makes the ink, the person who packs the ink, the person who's shipping the ink, the person who receives the ink, the seller who sells it to us.
So they're all possibilities. All that route is a possibility.
I mean, anybody who puts their hand on this bottle of ink essentially could be a suspect.
Good.
After getting my tattoo done, Marco said I should chat to Cash, a Pearson amateur photographer who's no stranger to dangerous chemicals.
Hypothetically, if you were considering murder, how would you do it?
Well, I mentioned briefly before the photographic process I use, which is wet plate collodion. So I'm using really harsh chemicals and things like this. So it wouldn't be too challenging for me to, actually, I would probably kill someone with cyanide because I have about 10 kilos worth just to make my fix, and then my developer and my film itself has ether.
So do you have to be, is it legal? Do you have to be some kind, to buy these dangerous products, can anyone go and do it? Or do you have a license to buy?
It can only be sent to my photo studio. So you have to be registered, not necessarily registered, but you have to be a known artist working in that specific field. So not anyone can just go online and get a couple pounds of,
So
cyanide.
what are you using it for?
I'm using it for the fix to stop development on my photos.
So does everybody now that's developing their own photos use some kind of cyanide?
Not by any means. I'd say limited amount of folks. So, it's very specific to the wet plate collodion community. But also, there's a lot of
So hold on,
fakes.
come back. Tell me what that is. The web plate.
Wet plate collodion. So it was the first photographic process ever invented. And I'm doing ambrotype. So on a clear sheet of glass, about a 1/4 inch thick, I make my own film, which is collodion. It's a liquid you pour over the film. So if you think of Civil War era photos, all those tin types, that's going to be the photos I'm making, except on glass. So things of that nature. But there's a new kind of rebirth of it all and a certain community working in it, but there are going to be other alternatives to cyanide because it's quite dangerous to work with.
After chatting with Cash and Marco, it looks like cyanide mixed in with tattoo ink may be a viable way of killing someone. It will be silent and discreet. However, getting hold of cyanide would be tricky and quite easily traceable.
Hey Jackie, it's Jamie. I heard you coming my way. So listen, I know you're obsessed with all this murders and everything going on. I've got something that you are going to drop dead over. So come my way and I'm going to show you somewhere in Beverly Hills and you can't wait to pull the trigger. See you soon. Bye.
Brilliant. Sounds exciting. I can't wait to hear what he has to tell me.
I did some research and then I was actually travelling down towards Century City Way, and I was talking with some guy who was like, you know what, who used to live down these areas? I was like, who? Well, he didn't actually live. They said he actually got killed.
Benjamin Bugsy Seagull, known as one of the most infamous and feared gangsters of his day. Bugsy was a well-skilled assassin, but in 1942 he moved to Los Angeles, where he got his first taste of the gambling industry. Regarded today as the godfather of gambling, in 1946 Bugsy opened the Flamingo, the first ever hotel casino in Las Vegas.
People that were involved with him, they were so convinced that he was money laundering from them as well. The irony of money laundering, then again money launder. He was then, so then they started to put feelers out and they started to watch him. And all this money was kept disappearing, and he was like, they asked him about it, and they was like, it's all in your imagination, don't be so silly. It's not happening, the money's right there. Just down this road here, he was actually murdered. I know, I'm going to show you the house. So it's just down here.
How did they get him?
Okay, so
I know lots of people, the police tried to get him.
They had to like set this all up so carefully.
Yeah.
And it was such an orchestration that they actually got the rifle, the guys on the other side of the house, on the other side of the road in the house, to literally wait for him and then pop straight in the head. But makes me giggle the most, well, I shouldn't say giggle, but I did chuckle when I read it. He wasn't the one doing all of the laundry.
Oh,
it was the girlfriend.
Wow. Good, a little twist in a tale.
A little twist.
We love a little twist.
Female power for you, huh?
Yeah.
So she was stealing the money, and he took the flak for it. I don't know if he actually knew the money was being taken, and he was just like, because he was in love or whatever, or she was screwing him over the same way he was screwing everyone else over.
So one bullet.
Did
it.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And this is where he got popped in the head, right there.
I can't imagine. We're actually standing where Bugsy Seagull got shot. That's just incredible.
I know, right?
It was really interesting listening to Jamie talk all about Bugsy. It just goes to show that even being one of the top players in the mafia, basic human motives like greed will still get you killed. It's time to head to the place Bugsy made famous, Las Vegas. Today is a very different place to when Bugsy first set up the Flamingo, and now it's become one of the world's most famous tourist destinations, known as the gambling capital of the world. However, there's more to do than just gamble, which leads me on to another potential weapon for my killer. Gabe, can you tell me a little bit about these amazing bows?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two different types of bows, right? So we have compound and we have recurve. Recurve I have over there right behind those compounds. So recurve is more of a traditional style, like a long bow. And then compounds have these weird looking wheel things on them, just like this. Okay, these are called cams, all right? So it uses a cam system. What happens with this is compounds have a thing called let off. So when those cams turn all the way out, what happens is, say you have a 50-pound bow, right? When you draw it all the way back and it locks out, you only hold about 10 pounds of it, right? To where on a recurve, you're pulling back that 50 pounds the entire time.
So does a woman have a smaller bow?
It wouldn't be necessarily smaller. The
Or
size,
lighter.
yeah, the size of the bow is from the axle to axle. Right here is the length. So you have anywhere from around 30 to 34 inches of axle to axle on a compound bow, right? For females, what they do is it's the same axle to axle, so it's the same height, but the difference is they just drop the weight down a little bit. So like hunting wise, you shoot probably around 60 to 70 pounds, where on a female you would shoot probably around 40 or 50. Actually, in the state of Nevada, to hunt, you have to have at least 40 pounds on a compound bow.
When you say you're hunting, what are you hunting?
So out here in Nevada, we have mule deer, we have elk, we have antelope. A lot of people hunt turkeys. There's a lot of bird hunting out here.
That can't be easy to catch a flying bird.
Yeah, no, it's very difficult. I haven't tried it myself yet. I haven't gotten that good, but I know a lot of people that do hunt.
And could I try one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, how exciting. Could we actually kill a person with a bow and arrow?
Absolutely. So with these bows, the arrow, on an average, right, the arrow comes out of the bow at around 300 feet per second, okay? So bullets out of a gun, they fly at around anywhere from 6 to 1,000 feet per second, Okay, so these bows, they have enough velocity and kinetic energy to actually kill a person. They can kill a 600-pound elk with one arrow. Yeah, I know people that can hit quarters at 60 yards with bow and arrows. So it takes a lot of practice, but you can get there. You can definitely
so
get.
So they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
whether they miss or hit.
It's very uncommon for people like that to miss.
So can you tell me a little bit about the pros and cons of using a bow and arrow?
So the pros is it's definitely a lot quieter. Yeah, you're a lot more sneaky, right? So that's why a lot of people in the hunting world, when you're hunting with those bows, they do it as a lot more of a challenge. All right, you have to be a lot closer to the animal. When you're shooting with guns, you can shoot anywhere from 200-300 yards out. With a bow, an average shot on a bow and arrow is 40 yards. So you have to be a lot closer. And the cons, exactly, that's also a con as well. You have to be a lot closer, which means you have to be a lot more stealth and sneaky. So there's the upsides and there's the downsides. It's a lot more difficult, but in the end, it's a lot more fun in my opinion.
Being able to hit a small coin at 60 yards and take down a 600-pound animal would definitely get the job done for my killer.
All right, so a big thing, you want to make sure that you draw all the way back
One
to your
above,
face.
2 behind.
Keep your elbow up, pull all the way back. There you go.
And then.
Nice. There you go. Awesome. All right, and then we're going to hang up our bow. We're gonna go check out our arrows. So I'll take that. All right. You actually did better than me on that one. You got the closest. See, so these were your first two down here. All right.
And then when I realised.
And then once you worked on it and then you adjusted, that was your final arrow right there. We're only a couple inches off of the center. So that right there, that is actually a kill shot. If that was somebody's vitals or an animal's vitals right there, you would actually puncture a lung and that would be it. That'd be done.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
All right, so this is the compound, right? It's gonna work the same exact way, but you're gonna see it has a little bit different feel to it.
So across there. So where does this go? Above that little?
Nope, still gonna go right below it, right like that. All right, then same thing, 1 on top, 2 on the bottom. All right, and you're gonna draw all the way back.
Am I holding it?
Yep, just like that. You're gonna pull all the way back.
Where am I? Oh, that's much tighter.
Yeah, pull all the way back. Keep going, pull, pull, pull. All right, and then when you're ready to fire, just let go. You're gonna see it flies a lot faster. See, so this one's a lot better grouping, right?
Yeah.
And you're a lot more in the center. So all of them are on the target, right? And we got 2 right in the yellow right there.
So I've killed someone twice.
Yeah. Yep.
But it is about confidence.
Yeah,
isn't it? Because otherwise, if you're not confident, you're not going to.
There's so many factors. There's head placement, eye placement, the release. How you let your hand go when you let that arrow fly. There's a whole bunch of different factors that have a factor in that arrow flight.
Okay, I've had a brilliant time.
Good, I'm glad.
Oh, fantastic. Loved it. Thank you so much.
No problem, anytime.
Thank you.
I didn't do too badly with the bow and arrow, but it did make me think. You do have to be pretty close to guarantee a kill shot. And you can tell a lot of training is needed to get really good. It's not something you can just pick up spontaneously and use to kill someone. Plus, it's not exactly discreet, and reloading is a bit of a faff. I'm now heading over to Dean Martin Drive to meet ex-Navy and now shooting instructor Tommy. I want to get familiar with a weapon more classically associated with murder.
Okay, how easy is it in the US to buy a gun?
Fairly easy. You just need a background check, and it depends on the state. So, whatever your laws are, because you can't necessarily buy a certain gun in California to Nevada. There's certain restrictions.
Okay, Tommy, can I have a go?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Let's go shoot
I
a
would
gun.
love to have you come shoot.
Fab.
I've never shot a gun before, so this should be interesting.
So, here's some ear protection.
And go in before you put those on?
Yes. So we like to double up our ear protection to say,
Squash them?
just squish it up and then stuff it in your ear.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we'll start out with the pistol. So first thing you want to do is check to make sure your firearm is clear and safe. Checking the chamber to make sure there's no round. Make sure the magazine is clear. Quick check. Round is chambered. You want your thumb as forward as possible. You want your hand all the way up, not down here, because for this firearm, you actually have to press this in order for it to fire. Good strong grip. Finger along the trigger on all firearms at all times until you're ready to fire. Then the support hand comes in just under the guard. And I like to have my thumbs forward along the lower receiver. Here's the upper receiver, which comes back violently and you can cut yourself. Palms in, and then this thumb just rests on top. And then for your stance, you want to be about shoulder width apart, and this is called the Isosceles Stance because you'll be having this triangle here. So a little break in the knees, and then you'll come straight from the chest up to eye level when you're ready to fire.
Is there, when you fire these guns, is there much residue you get on your hands?
Yes. There's the gunshot residue that will be, there will be traces on your hands, which is why when customers come in from all around the world, I say, when you're leaving, make sure you grab a hand wipe for the gunshot residue. That way you don't get screened over at the airport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just in case.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you ready to come try this out?
Yeah.
All right, so you want to face this straight on.
Yep.
Feet shoulder width apart.
Yep.
All right, so are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
All right, go ahead and full grip. Hand all the way up, finger along the trigger. There you go, strong grip.
That was,
Yep.
yeah, I like that.
There you go, just like that. And then bring this index finger in, right there. Thumbs, good. All right, so now you got your stance, you have your grip. You just want to breathe carefully, and then before you fire, close your left eye. Since you're right-handed, you want to use your right eye.
And each time I pull the trigger, one bullet's coming
Right,
out.
this is only semi-automatic. This,
So am I pushing this
Yes.
at the same time
it's
as
its own
pushing
safety mechanism.
that? And are you staying there?
Yes.
Oh, that's fine. I know, I needed to know.
Nope, you're fine. So now that we got your handling, your stance, we got to sight it.
Yep.
So before you fire, hold on. You want to keep these level. So your front and rear sight, you want to keep them level at the top. Looking through that little crevice, focus on the white dot there, where you want to shoot
Yep.
on the target. And then lean forward from the hip, and then go ahead and squeeze the trigger. Oh, well, you got in the green zone, so
That was such a shock.
that's a good shot.
Woo.
So go ahead and fill that space. It helps with the recoil because if it's down here, it has more of a chance to fly back. So if your hand is all the way up like it is now, it has less of a chance to fly back because you're just holding, you're keeping it stable. So go ahead and try for a headshot.
Oh, a hit.
Nice.
Straight in. That was amazing. But the pullback is incredible. It's very unexpected. It's very powerful. You realise that you've got something really powerful in your hands. Scary, really.
There you go. Let me lock that back for you.
It's, this is not a pastime that I would pick up. This is a one-off. This is dangerous, and you feel the power of that gun, and it's been brilliant, but I wouldn't do it again. Where did I go? Oh, I still got green.
Yeah, hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but that's not good because I was going for 8.
Oh. So this is actually a very good shot for close distance, which actually most incidences happen actually at this range. For example, a lot of car robberies. You go into your car, you go to unlock it, or just go to grab the handle, and someone runs up on you. And if you have a concealed firearm, you can turn, lift shirt, pull your firearm out on them, and they're gonna be right here. So that's why some people actually bring their targets this close when training in an environment like this.
Okay, what's next?
So here we have the fully automatic MP5. You can switch to semi-auto, and it's the same size bullet, it's a 9mm. It's very fun, easy to use. How do you feel about shooting this?
Do you know, this isn't what I expected to happen. I came in here jovial and thought this was a bit of fun. It's not fun, is it? I understand I kind of understood it was serious, and I understand but after shooting that and realised that I've just shot a deadly weapon, it's done. I don't want to shoot it. I can't believe how powerful that is. And it's kind of, I've had to go. The idea of using the big one doesn't appeal. Thank you so much, Tommy.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to say no, but I'd love to watch you.
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
I'll show you how we shoot this. Ready?
I'm glad I didn't have a go on the MP5. Watching Tommy fire it was frightening enough. These weapons are designed to inflict maximum amounts of damage and should only be used by highly trained professionals like Tommy.
That was so noisy. Is there any other alternatives?
There are suppressors that help keep the noise way down, and it depends on how much, depends on the company and how much oil you can put in the suppressor to help keep that down. And also outside is a lot quieter. This indoors, it just amplifies everything.
Apart from the sound, what other things are detrimental when using a gun?
Well, being traced back to you, because other than finding the bullet, if you do find it in either a body or in a wall or somewhere, they can trace that bullet back to the gun, and then the gun may or may not be registered to whoever shot it, unless you buy a gun on the black market, so you can't be traced.
Is that easy to do?
It depends on who you know.
Okay. I suppose that's probably the same worldwide. I couldn't believe how powerful it is. It's a really, we haven't got a gun culture really in the UK, so I have never held a gun like that. And I knew there was going to be a kickback, but I didn't realise the power behind it. And I thought, okay, I've done it, and that's why I decided, okay, it's done. I don't want to go for the big one. I think it was something about the power of the weapon and that you could kill someone. I've never done anything or been anywhere that was that powerful that I could have killed someone.
Although extremely efficient, guns definitely have their drawbacks. Firstly, without a silencer, they're very loud. And secondly, the bullets can be easily traced. I want my character to be a bit more subtle and sly. Over the years, Vegas has been famous for hosting the world's best magicians and illusionists, experts in misdirection and tricking the eye. So I've arranged to meet Master Magician Ariane Black to find out a little bit more.
Thank you so much for coming to meet me. Really excited to meet you. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm a magician that lives here in Las Vegas. I've worked in some of the big review shows on the Strip. Been able to travel all over the world just doing magic tricks.
How old were you when you first started being interested in magic?
I saw my first trick when I was about 4 and thought it was the coolest thing. Went home. I grew up with my father's side of the family is very, math and science based. And so at 4, it took me a couple months to figure out how the trick was done. Once I figured it out, I was hooked. And so when I saw my cousin, who was the one doing the magic tricks, I went back 3 months later, showed him the trick, and he showed me a different one. Well, at 4, you don't
That's
realize that there's
amazing.
more than one magic trick. So when I realized there was more than one, I didn't want to do anything else for the rest of my life.
I love the idea of illusion, the idea of people not realising what's happening. So one of the things, first of all, is there anything you can show us? Have you brought something with you?
I have my little bag of tricks.
Do you?
This is my favorite trick. So all I want you to do is pick 2 cards, a high card and a low card.
And take them?
Doesn't matter that I can see them.
Okay.
Check those cards out.
Okay.
All right, here, we'll put the rest away because we're not going to need them. So, I'm going to have you take the 2, and I want you to fold that 2 in half. Just like that, all the way. Put a crease in it. I'm going to fold this one lengthwise while you're folding that one widthwise. And once you have it folded, make sure it folds nicely back and forth. No.
You're doing mine?
Yep,
Yeah,
you're doing that
okay.
right. But once you have it folded, make sure it folds like a hinge. So you're folding yours like a hamburger bun, and I'm folding this one more like a hot dog bun.
Yep.
You've got it so it'll fold back and forth?
Yep.
I know. Yep. Make sure it's nice and loose. So,
Yep.
Yep. Perfect. All right. So now, you like writing about murder mysteries.
I do.
And there is more than one way to kill a person. Now, with magic, it's all about misdirection. And when you're killing somebody, it's always more fun to do it slowly, where you can turn them inside out. And you can see as that queen passes through that she just turns inside out. It's magic. It is. So this part of the queen is turned face in. This part is turned face out. Now, if we take her and pull her about halfway, you'll see that one half is turned face in, and the other half is still turned face out.
Wow. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. So let's get into murder.
All right.
If I posed a question to you, if you were going to murder someone, how would you do it?
So I used to work with big cats, and that's one of the other ways that you can kill a person. Because if the person who's supposed to vanish and become the cat can't vanish, now they're left inside the cage with the cat. And those cats are very dangerous. In fact, you know what? There's a habitat right here in town where they keep the cats. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. And you know, if you're gonna kill somebody and you wanna get rid of the body, working with somebody that has alligators or big cats, that's a pretty good way to get rid of the body. Not much is gonna be left.
Lions, perfect. 10 minutes off the main Vegas Strip, In Henderson County lies the Lion Habitat Ranch, run by veteran lion whisperer Keith Evans.
Keith, can you tell me a little bit about your lovely centre here?
Sure. Well, this is the Lion Habitat Ranch. We became a nonprofit in 2014, and same lions that used to be on display at the MGM, except the new babies born after 2012. All our cats are born here. They normally live till their ripe old age. We've got some girls that are 20 years old. We celebrated their birthday, and that's the cats we're going to be going up to see now. Peaches, Sam, and Tyra.
So how long have you been working with big cats?
This is my 47th year.
Wow. Are they all rescued?
No, they're
Cats
not
of
all
you?
rescued. Some of them are from the original MGM bloodline, and then we brought in different bloodlines to make sure we had a good genetic background.
What's the oldest lion you've got here?
Well, these three girls coming up now will be our oldest. They're over 20 years old, and they were the ones that actually opened up the MGM habitat.
Is it illegal to keep lions in America or in Nevada?
Not if you have all the permits. It's legal.
Really?
Well, that's good news. Time for the killer question.
If I use a lion
Right.
as a character, can they dispose of all the remains of a body?
If the body's already dead,
Yep.
they probably wouldn't be interested because it's not live. Start off with. Second of all, my lions wouldn't know the difference, but even if a wild lion would do it, we're going to go in this room here. You can go ahead. You want to come in front? These are Peaches, Sam, and Tyra, so you can tell how stressed out they are.
They kind of don't look real. They're so amazing.
So they're over 20 years old. Like I said, they're the ones that opened up the MGM Hotel, and hopefully, if I can leave you, what I'm going to do is go over and get some food, and I'm going to put it on the glass for you, just like we used to do at the Habitat. And if you put your hand right where the meat is, it'll look like they're licking it off your hand.
They are so near, I feel like I could just stroke them. How incredible. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh! Oh my goodness! That's better than firing guns and bows and arrows. And they don't fight with him. They're not fighting like a... There we go. There we go. Incredible. Brilliant.
The girls eat between 12 and 15 pounds, and the boys eat between 15 and 20. Now, as the girls get older, all the cats that get probably about above 17, we feed them 7 days a week because we just don't want their metabolism to slow down at all. Whereas the younger cats, we give them a day to fast and to process their food.
So if would a lion eat a dead body it just found? Or would
It probably wouldn't because it's not a natural. We sometimes have, we have Nebraska brand is what we're feeding these cats now for their main diet. And there's two different processes of that. One has more, let's say, body parts in it, and the other one's really just meat only. So with added vitamins and stuff. And just to switch them between the two of them, they could turn their nose up on it.
Oh, really?
So if they weren't hungry, the chance of them eating a body that was laying around is minuscule.
So that means that it's not going to work.
No,
because it's just not safe. It's not a safe bet
it's not
for
a
any
guarantee.
criminal.
Yeah,
It's not
if you want to get rid
guaranteed.
of the evidence, that's not the way to do it.
Using lions as a body disposal service looks like a no-go, unless you grind up the body into burger-sized portions. But I think there's going to be too much effort for my murderer. Whilst wandering around the park, I took the opportunity to ask a member of the public a few questions on murder.
If you were going to murder someone, how would you do it?
I would use makeup or nail polish remover. I would put the poison in the nail polish remover, or in the hand cream that they're using. Or if I was a makeup artist, I would put it on, the makeup for the face or the lipstick.
So have you ever thought about this before? Or is it just something you just came up with?
No, it's just something I came up with because, you want to find ways that people wouldn't even know you're going to do it. It's just a normal everything day that people do, is like manicures or makeup, and they wouldn't even think about, poison being in lipstick or makeup or nail polish remover. They wouldn't even think about it.
What do you think the most popular motive for murder is?
Greed and jealousy.
Yeah, I think jealousy and crimes of passion.
Yeah.
For a sweet, innocent lady, it looks like she had definitely thought about this before. I was interested to hear what ideas she had for getting rid of her body.
I think there are chemicals that you can actually dissolve a body. The skin and the bones can be dissolved, and then you can just... I think it just would dissipate.
I once saw a documentary which said a school of 300 to 500 piranhas can demolish a 180-pound person in just 5 minutes. I wonder what this lady would think of my piranha idea.
Okay, so a dead body.
Yeah, a dead body, and put them in with the piranhas, and then there would be no evidence. If you did it that way, I would think so.
Good idea.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. They thought about the piranhas. I think that would be great, and then you wouldn't have to worry about fingerprints or...
I wonder if they'd eat the teeth. That's the problem when you get teeth left, because you can... they bring dentists into certain situations to analyse the teeth. Teeth give a lot away.
Well, if the teeth, you could always take the teeth and smash them all up. I mean, it's just
You're
calcium.
becoming evil now.
Teeth is just calcium, and you smash it, and then you could put it in dirt somewhere. It's just like a calcium rock.
Good idea.
Just smash it up.
Fabulous ideas.
Yeah, don't you?
Making me think.
Yeah. Smash up their teeth. Be really evil.
Then get them in with the piranhas.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
After getting a scary insight into how the general public might commit murder and hide the evidence, I decided it was time to leave the Lion Ranch and head to Fremont Street, located in downtown Las Vegas. The D, one of the most prestigious hotel casinos in the area and the main location to be featured in my novel. I was fortunate enough to be given an all-access pass to the D and even granted time with the owner and the inspiration behind the resurgence of the downtown area and Fremont Street experience, Derek Stevens.
Derek, can you tell us a little bit about your casino, the D, and the vibe and how it's changed since you've acquired it?
Yeah, the D Las Vegas is right in the heart of the Fremont Street experience in downtown Las Vegas. And downtown has seen this great resurgence, and every night there's free entertainment on all the stages, and 17.5 million people come to visit downtown Las Vegas every year, and it's basically a big party 24 hours a day.
So on any given night, approximately how many people are in this area downtown?
Oh my, I mean, with all the concerts and the stages, the downtown Las Vegas Event Center, the hotels, on an average night, it's going to be about like 50,000 people will come down to the Fremont Street experience.
With so many people in the area, security is going to be hot. I grabbed a word with John Fiato, Chief of Security at the D, to learn a little more about their operation. Maybe the murder could happen in a casino.
John, can you tell us a little bit about the security setup in the D?
At the D, we use both physical security with officers on the ground, uniformed and plainclothes. Our staff is right around 45 people. from a management level down to an investigative body. We also have a bike patrol division, and then we work in tandem with our surveillance team. So we bring technology into the equation as well. Little over 450 cameras on this property alone.
So how much depends on the technology versus a natural instinct?
My experience has been over 34 years. You have to find a way to blend both the technology, and technology has advanced exponentially over the last several years, as well as those people, the boots on the ground, that actually look for those change in body behaviors. As someone walks into a casino, you can't always be on top of them, but a surveillance camera has the ability to watch them before an uniformed officer even gets there. So we blend technology. I bring my experience. We bring update training with law enforcement, fire. As you know, the world changes with terrorism being what it is. So it's an ongoing training, but technology and boots on the ground is really where our success lies, working those two in tandem.
So everybody has to be really with it all the time, the whole of your team.
We can't afford to have a bad day.
Yeah.
If we have a bad day, we miss something that we could have prevented. Obviously, it's a bad experience for the guest. It's a bad experience potentially for the hotel, the operators, the other employees. So everyone is on their game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm very, very proud of the team we've put together. And like I said, there's about 45 ladies and gentlemen out there every night that do this job for me.
Is it possible to move a human-sized object out of the building without getting detected?
It is absolutely impossible for you to move a human-sized object or anything out of this casino without being detected in some fashion. On the front end, we're watching for your behavioral patterns. On the back end of it, we have a surveillance team that's fully functional and operational 24 hours a day. So I would say no, you cannot move a human-sized object out of our casino.
Great. I'll tick that one off. Thank you.
The casino floor is obviously not ideal for committing murder because of the amount of witnesses. But what about upstairs in the hotel? With so many rooms and a strong staff presence, surely you would be spotted by the cleaners.
So if there's a do not disturb on the door for rather a long time, at what point does someone say, I need to go in there, or should we check? What happens?
The do not disturbs are tracked daily, and so if we will leave a note on a do not disturb for a guest if they want service to call back later, and then if it is marked for 2 straight days, then we will go into the room and check and see what's going on in that room.
So if there isn't a do not disturb, do the guest room attendants always knock first, or are they likely to walk in something they shouldn't? Or
GRA, or guest room attendant, will not enter without knocking and announcing themselves. So they're actually trained to knock twice. They'll knock, then they'll knock again, enter the key, open slowly, and announce housekeeping, so that anyone is in the room that hasn't left a do not disturb on is not entered upon.
Is warned first.
Exactly.
Is it true that in Las Vegas, none of the windows in any of the hotels open?
Yes, that's true.
Why? Have any of the people that worked with you before ever walked in on a dead body in a hotel room?
Unfortunately for legal reasons, Norm wouldn't be able to answer the question, and the interview was shortly terminated. Using an establishment like the D to carry out murder in the real world would be impossible. Well, impossible to get away with. With advanced technology, you would need a pretty good disguise. Maybe, just maybe, there might be somebody who could help.
I think this is the place. Oh, look at that prop. There's the door. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Must be Jacky.
I am.
How are you?
And Julia? Hi, Julia. Really nice to meet you.
Look for Haley.
Hi, Haley.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
We're cuddle. We're very British. We like cuddling. Oh, wow.
Nice.
What a lovely place.
Thanks.
Looks
We
amazing.
have all the fun things to look at.
So can you just tell me a little bit about what you do?
We do stuff for film, events, commercials, stuff like that. So, I mean, we do everything really from sculpting, actually from live casting actors to the sculpting to the mold making to running foam or silicone or whatever material we're using, and then we go finish the circle with her applying the makeups on set.
Yeah. So you're the artist.
Yeah.
You're the makeup artist.
Yeah. She's a makeup artist.
So I've got a really good question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think nowadays people can get away being this close and still being in disguise?
Absolutely. People do it all the time.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Okay, we understand you can't mention names.
Yes.
But
a lot of celebrities, they want to go out in public and not be recognized. So they hire us. And we sculpt prosthetics on them to change their features, make them look different so that when we're talking, you can't recognize them.
So would they purchase kind of bits and pieces and then they come to you to have them applied whenever they want to go out shopping or whatever?
That's a way to do it. There are generic prosthetics that companies make, but the best way to do it is to come in, get a life cast done so we have your face, and then we sculpt the prosthetics on your face so that they fit you perfectly.
How long would it take you to do a full disguise? And can you teach somebody to do it themselves?
Typically, for full facial prosthetics to completely change their appearance, it'll take anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. If I'm by myself, usually I would bring an assistant with me to cut down the time a little bit. But to teach someone to do it themselves and pull it off would be a tremendous amount of work.
So they need a professional.
Yes.
They would.
Takes years of practice.
Because even though the makeup takes 6 hours, you still, all the other work that goes into it, the live casting of the person, the sculpting of these new features, and to spend the time to really recreate pores, wrinkles, everything that looks natural so it doesn't look fake. That's you're looking at I mean, there's I don't know, maybe 2-3 days of work.
It's obvious to see that both Hayley and Junior are very skilled at what they do. You couldn't do this yourself and expect to get away with it. I wonder if there are any cases of anybody committing a crime using a latex-based disguise.
We just had, what was it? It was on the news, maybe, I don't know, maybe like a couple of weeks ago. Some guy was wearing a disguise. He was a white male, disguised himself as a black male, and he was robbing banks.
So did we know if somebody was doing this makeup for him or if he did it himself?
I actually don't even think it was a makeup. I think it was a super hyper realistic silicone mask. Wow. Which is another thing they're doing now. Yeah, now they're making super hyper realistic silicone masks. And I think that's what the guy was wearing.
So do you have anything silicone here that we can...
We have... do we have
or any small...
I have a piece right here. I mean, they're wounds,
silicone pieces.
but you can feel and see without even paint or anything how much it feels and looks like skin already before I've even done any work to it. So
and where's this going? What's that going to end up as?
So this I would peel away. This piece in between is called flashing. So we would peel the piece out of the flashing, right? And then, carefully, and then wherever you would need, this is just a cut, wherever you would need a cut, right? We would glue it on and then blend the edges in and then paint it to match your skin. Maybe put some freckling in it because you have some freckles, just to make it look like it's naturally there.
And then some blood down the middle.
Yeah, totally. Which I have. We have all the blood. But yeah, and then some facial pieces. This is a different material. This is foam latex, but same idea. You peel away from the flashing. You have these super thin edges, and then I would just stick it on your nose. Boop.
There you go, see?
So we would take this flashing off, blend the edges into your skin, and then paint it
You know, like Barbra
and
Streisand.
change your.
So just by changing someone's nose, does
Oh,
that
yeah.
change just the
Yeah.
nose? Change?
Yeah.
So yeah, I know in casinos they everywhere is cameras, and they probably have some way of assessing who's coming in by facial. Do you think just changing the nose
Actually,
would?
I think you could beat those systems with it because they have pretty technologically advanced face mapping that goes on when you walk into a casino. So they know exactly who you are. They will have a, I mean, they can pull out your entire information just by, by mapping your face. So I believe if you make a realistic nose and a brow for someone, you could totally cheat it.
Change
Totally.
their anatomy. Yeah.
Totally.
And
You
here,
wouldn't be able to read it.
the casinos here are super high tech. They do facial recognition with all the cameras. It's illegal to wear any sort of face makeup, any
Yeah.
like face painting, prosthetics. That's
Yeah.
why Halloween, everyone that's in costume, you're not allowed to walk through casinos.
Yeah.
This gives me so much food for thought. But while I'm on that question, if you, Hayley, if you probably by accident murdered somebody or killed somebody, how would you dispose of the body?
I feel like we're in the perfect place to dispose of a body just because we're in the middle of the desert. So we're surrounded by nothing for hours. So I would probably bring him out to the middle of the desert and chop him up and let him naturally decompose somewhere because you're never going to find him.
Such an obvious idea, and one I hadn't even given much thought to. Vegas, located in the basin of the Mojave Desert, the driest of all in North America, with an area covering over 47,000 square miles. Surely this would be the ideal place to hide evidence.
Allegedly, the mob used to bury bodies out here in the desert, and it's vast expanse of nothing. So I'm going to try and see if I can bury the dead body I've acquired. Gosh, it's harder than you think. That would take hours. That's not a 5-minute job. I think, even though I'm in the middle of nowhere, someone's going to see you.
How far are you in, Jackie?
I haven't made any inroads, really. I wouldn't be able to bury a cat there, it's so small. Maybe a mouse. It's impossible. I mean, you'd get spotted, surely. This is such a big job. To actually bury somebody that was, I don't know, anything between 5 and 6 foot, I would think take you hours. No. Back to the drawing board.
Well, that didn't turn out as planned. It definitely is a two-man job, at least, and that's without getting the body there. Planning a murder with the aim to not getting caught is much harder than I imagined.
I can't imagine if I choose my murderer to be a female that she's going to use a gun like the one I used. It was heavy, it was lethal, dramatic, and I think if it is a female, I would have to go and do a bit more research about different types of guns. I do like the idea of the lions though, but then we learned that you're never going to get rid of the body completely. You're still going to have the teeth left, and the lions will leave the bones. So, yeah, I'm not going to do a lion, I don't think.
Something a bit more inconspicuous was the trip to the ink, the tattoo parlour.
Now, I loved the tattoo parlour. I loved the characters, the brightness, the enthusiasm. They were they were great characters. And artists as well. So as an author, I've got lots to think about. Their great description can be used, and that's a possibility. I thought the ideas that the piercer and the tattooist gave us were great ideas, and I can see the possibility of using something like that, you know, with my own twist. But they were great possibilities.
And other than the lions, we went to the desert. What did we learn while we were at the desert?
I learned that the desert is a very lonely place, a big place, and also a scary place, I think. You know, you forget that the desert is vast. It goes on and on and on. And, you know, if somebody was left out there in the height of the summer, they're a goner. You don't need to do anything else, just leave them. You know, might do that.
So what's next now?
So now I have to take everything into consideration, everything that I've found out, everything that people have told me, and decide what I'm actually going to put in the novel. It's definitely going to be set in Vegas, there's no doubt about that. But who's going to be included out of the people we met? No, I'm not too sure. You'll have to read the book and find out.